All right, so we just watched Alex Eala take out Siegemund in a very long physical match. It was not easy for Eala. She had to deal with a lot of the Siegemund tactics.
What a test that was for last year's breakout star, Alexandra Eala. 3 hours 20 it took to get past the world number 54, Laura Siegemund.
Some matches hinge on shot making, others on mental fortitude. This Miami Open second-round clash fell firmly in the latter category. Laura Siegemund arrived with her complete arsenal of psychological warfare, the deliberate delays, the umpire confrontations, the strategically timed bathroom breaks. Alex Eala absorbed every tactic with remarkable composure and ultimately prevailed in 3 sets. Drop a comment below. Do you believe Siegemund's approach crosses into genuine unsportsmanlike conduct? Or is this simply competitive gamesmanship that every professional should expect and handle? Share your perspective.
There's to be no escape act in the second set for Laura Siegemund. That's an excellent response from Alexandra Eala. Right back in this match. And a decider incoming.
This wasn't a straightforward tennis competition where 2 athletes battled through superior play. This was a 3-hour mental chess match where one competitor dedicated the afternoon to disrupting, delaying, and destabilizing her opponent through every available method. The other player responded by dominating the second set, dominating the third set, and leaving the court with her composure entirely intact. Eala defeated Siegemund in a first-set tiebreak that went to Siegemund, then 6-3, 6-3 in the remaining sets. The final score barely hints at what actually unfolded.
It's a crazy match, and like I said in the final set there, Siegemund had chances early. Eala took her chances early, and that was the difference, really. That, Siegemund just got a little bit annoyed at herself that she didn't take those early chances, or at least didn't take those chances to get back in it. So many deuce points, so many advantages for both players on the serves, and man, it was just a marathon match. And of course, Siegemund was playing those tactical games. She was time wasting a little bit. She was, getting a little bit agitated. Getting the umpire involved. She does all those things, and Eala, mentally strong throughout, just kept her cool and just played the game. And that's what she did very, very well in this one, which could have easily gone to...
From the opening games, Siegemund made clear her intention to control the match through disruption rather than dominant tennis. Repeated delays between points, complaints about spectator movement, disputes with the chair umpire over questionable distractions, an excessively drawn-out service routine that added uncomfortable seconds to every exchange. These are tactics deployed by seasoned competitors who recognize they need to derail their opponent's momentum before it becomes overwhelming. The frustrating reality is, these methods often work, at least initially. Eala actually played sharper tennis in the first set, dictating rallies, moving forward with confidence, showing zero signs of rust from her recent FIBA qualifying commitments in San Juan, rather than hardcore preparation facilities. She looked comfortable and prepared. Then the accumulated disruptions began taking effect. Every time Eala established momentum, something interrupted it, a prolonged pause, an umpire discussion, a complaint about someone entering at an inopportune moment. Individually, these incidents seem minor. Collectively, they generate friction that genuinely disrupts rhythm. The first set, which Eala should have controlled, went to a tiebreak, and in that fragmented, disconnected environment, Siegemund found her level and seized it. That moment could have completely altered the match trajectory. Losing a set you dominated, especially in a tiebreak, especially against someone who spent the entire set making you uncomfortable, tests something beyond technique. It tests your understanding of the situation and your capacity to adjust, not just tactically but psychologically. Eala's response to that first set loss proved the most significant decision she made all afternoon, which matters given everything that followed. Siegemund then departed for a bathroom break. 12 minutes. 12 minutes absent from the court at the second set's start, after already disrupting flow throughout the first set with every available tool. The timing wasn't subtle or coincidental. It was calculated to neutralize whatever mental momentum Eala might have gathered after the first set, resetting the match on Siegemund's terms and ensuring Eala returned to a cold court against a refreshed opponent who had just spent 12 minutes preparing a different tactical approach. What Eala did during those 12 minutes separates mentally resilient players from those who collapse. She didn't pace, display visible frustration, complain to her box, or shake her head at the extended wait. She sat, reset, and decided what the second set would become regardless of Siegemund's future actions. When Siegemund finally returned and play resumed, Eala appeared transformed, not through technical changes but through complete mental recalibration. She emerged in the second set playing with clarity and focus that hadn't been fully present earlier. She stopped reacting to disruptions and started playing through them. When Siegemund executed her slow service routine, Eala waited patiently, then struck her planned return. When Siegemund engaged the umpire, Eala bounced the ball and prepared for the next point. She refused participation in anyone else's timeline or agenda. The second set went 6-3 and wasn't particularly competitive. The score suggests contest. The actual tennis suggested a player who had discovered her level and was simply executing while her opponent's primary weapon, rhythm disruption, had become ineffective. Understanding why it stopped working matters. Siegemund's tactics succeed against players who respond to disruption emotionally, who become frustrated and tight, who start forcing shots because the match isn't flowing as expected. Once a player disengages from the psychological component entirely and just plays tennis point by point, the tactics lose all power. They're designed to penetrate your mind. If you refuse entry, nothing remains. Eala made that refusal crystal clear somewhere between the first set's conclusion and the second set's beginning. Siegemund, who had built an entire set's worth of psychological advantage, suddenly had no foundation to work with. The third set followed identical patterns. Siegemund attempted to slow things again, engaged the umpire again, complained about spectators entering during crucial moments. The officials, having observed the same match for over 2 hours, recognized the pattern and offered significantly less tolerance than the first set. The crowd, enthusiastic throughout, understood the dynamic and expressed their sentiments clearly. Eala played through everything. The third set went 6-3, identical to the second. Same result, same composure, same refusal to exist anywhere except exactly where she needed to be mentally. The match exceeded 3 hours, 3 hours of interruptions, delays, and psychological pressure from an opponent genuinely skilled at making matches uncomfortable and who has successfully employed these tactics against tour elites. Coco Gauff experienced something similar from Siegemund at the US Open: the repeated delays, time violations, official arguments. The situations aren't identical, but the behavioral pattern remains consistent and documented. What differed here was the response. Gauff was visibly impacted in ways that created match drama. Eala wasn't visibly affected by anything after the first set. She reset, competed, and closed the match with efficiency that makes 3-hour battles appear deceptively clean on scorecards. The net handshake told the remaining story. Siegemund offered a brief, perfunctory exchange before walking quickly away. No acknowledgement of the battle. No recognition of what Eala produced. The visible frustration of a player who arrived with a specific plan, executed it optimally, and still lost because her opponent proved mentally stronger than the plan anticipated. For Eala specifically, this victory carries significance extending well beyond a round of 64 result. This is the Miami Open, the tournament where her story originated. Last year, she entered as a wildcard ranked 140th and consecutively defeated Jelena Ostapenko, Madison Keys, and Iga Swiatek before reaching the semifinals. She's seeded 31st this year, with a first-round bye and center court placement. James Blake confirmed before the tournament that she and João Fonseca would receive main stage treatment throughout due to fan-base demand. She entered this Siegemund match with nothing to prove to anyone. She's already demonstrated she belongs here, already beaten the world's elite on this court. The question entering every match at this tournament isn't whether she's good enough. It's whether whatever version of pressure, disruption, or difficulty a specific opponent brings can knock her off her game. Siegemund delivered one of the most challenging possible tests in managing match conditions. The delays, the poorly timed bathroom break, the umpire consultations, the manufactured friction designed to make the match feel impossible to control. Eala handled everything and emerged with a composed 6-3 second and third set scoreline that appeared almost routine given the surrounding chaos. That's authentic mental toughness rather than post-match press conference descriptions. It looks like winning the second and third sets of a 3-hour match 6-3 and 6-3 against an opponent who deployed everything available and still couldn't find a path past a 20-year-old from the Philippines who had already decided she wouldn't lose her composure. The victory celebration at match point was earned. Every second of those 3 hours was in that sound. The patience, restraint, controlled focus, refusal to react, everything emerged in that moment when the match concluded and nothing remained to suppress. Eala advances. The Pinoy army celebrated like the tournament was already won. The Hard Rock Stadium center court atmosphere delivered on every expectation that James Blake's court assignment decision created. The road ahead includes significantly tougher matchups. The potential third-round rematch with Iga Swiatek, whom Eala defeated on these courts 12 months ago, is the match everyone has circled since the draw released. A potential quarterfinal against players who are fully healthy and competing at peak performance. And beyond that, the possibility of a final against Aryna Sabalenka, the world #1 and defending champion pursuing the Sunshine Double. All those matchups require exactly what Eala demonstrated against Siegemund: the capacity to remain present and controlled when conditions aren't clean and when the opponent is doing everything possible to remove you from your game. Not every opponent will employ Siegemund's specific approach, but every match at this draw level brings its own pressure form, and Eala just demonstrated across 3 hours of deliberate disruption that she processes that pressure and converts it into clean, effective tennis. Siegemund tried playing the game within the game. Eala played the actual game, and the actual game prevailed. 3 hours of time-wasting, bathroom breaks, umpire disputes, and manufactured disruption. Alex Eala observed it all, reset after the first set, and won the next 2 sets 6-3 and 6-3. If that mental strength doesn't convince you she can go all the way in Miami, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your prediction in the comments right now.